Okay, guys. I'll wait for about a couple minutes and see if anybody else gets on. How's everybody's weekend going? Mine's going beautiful. I got some pretty cool things to announce about the situation with me and Sophia. That's just awesome. So, I guess I'll go ahead and start. Hi, my name is Daryl Phillips, owner of Noir Apologia Gaming, and what we do here is listen to you talk. So, got some cool things to say. Talked to Sophia today. She has a car, 2025 Honda HRV. It's a good little car for her. Small. We're both small people. I'm not that small, but she is. She's tiny. And I'm so proud of her. And Amanda, her daughter, has hooked her up with a real estate agent, and she's gonna be looking at homes. I'm gonna predict this right now, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I would be shocked if I was still living in Texas in January and February. I really would be. I would be effing shocked. It would be the money thing. It would be she hasn't saved up enough money yet, but it ain't gonna because we haven't found it. It ain't because that she's not coming up with the money, and I'm gonna be putting my money in there. But I'm so proud of her, Sophia. I am so proud of you. You have no idea. It's an amazing thing. So yesterday we talked about what is your fight about, all right? And we had a good conversation. I hope everybody learned a lot of stuff. Apparently the people I talked to, the couple people I talked to, they learned stuff, that's the goal here. Today, we're going to talk about speaking the truth even when the person isn't going to like what you have to say. If it makes them angry, or maybe not talk to you for a little bit. I'm going to tell you how to get through this concept, because you have to be strong. You can't bend your will to other people. You can't be a people pleaser. Sophia's daughter, and she'd be the first person to admit this, Sophia's daughter used to be a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser. Sophia was a people pleaser. And we all got stronger. And Amanda is now one of those people that when she has when she has something to say, you can listen to her, you can not, but you're not going to change her view unless you have facts behind it. That's really what we're going to go through here tonight. I have rules when I speak now. I didn't used to. I just spoke. In fact, one of the things that used to be said about me on my report cards in high school, and my high school friends will verify this, doesn't think before he speaks. That was literally said underneath my grade on many of my classes. Or doesn't wait his turn in class, that kind of thing. I think about that now. Now, yes, I have bipolar disorder, and yes, that's part of the reason why it happened. But even for years later, even after I was on my lithium, which is not to get into this subject, but which is why I try to tell people that getting on your meds is not enough. If you want to get on your meds, fine, but also don't make people that don't want to get on meds bad about it, because I've made my choice. I don't want to be on meds. I don't want to be on psych meds. However, you have to work on your problems. You know what I'm saying? Got to work on your problems, y'all. I just want to make sure my sound. I got the sound thing up behind me, and I want to make sure my sound's right. Okay. I don't want my sound to be drowned out by the music. I do want music in the background. There's a debate going on YouTube, talking about, well, should you have music in your background? Depends on what you're talking about. Sometimes I talk about some serious subjects, and it relaxes everybody, or gets everybody to watch, so you don't realize the time's going by. So, back to what I was saying. God, I just lost my thought. Oh, okay. So, when I first met Sophia, she was very impressed with my knowledge, as most people are. But one thing she used to critique me on years ago was that sometimes when I start to get passionate about something, I get loud. I get passionate, I get loud, I get animated. And she said, Daryl, sometimes folks get mad or get scared. They get intimidated by you. Well, okay. I thought about it. I'm like, oh. So I've really worked on this aspect of myself, speaking to people about stuff that they don't want to hear. I don't want to hear some stuff people tell me all the time. Man, my God, Sophia is like you know what Sophia's nickname is? Her nickname is Mama Turtle, because she's a Mama Turtle. I'm Papa Turtle, but she's a Mama Turtle, which means that she's always, is everything okay? Everything, and that's why she's such a good nurse. So I listened to her, and I've been working on this. But I came up with some rules to help with this business, to help me teach other people to do this as well. Part of self-confidence is you have to have the confidence to speak to others. That other people aren't going to agree with you. That how do you get through that? How do you get through that feeling of, oh my God, I don't want to say this. I might make them mad. I might, but you don't want to be twisting in the wind. The Bible talks about the idea of being neither hot nor cold, so I will vomit you out of my mouth. I know it's pretty graphic language, pretty gross to think about it, but think about what God was saying there. Cold water cleanses, warm water heals. Okay, or excuse me, cold water is refreshing. Warm water washes things away. Lukewarm water grows disease and bacteria. You don't want to be in the middle. So, over the years, I have come up with this for myself, and then when Dwan started living here and we come up with the thought process on this business, this is what we came up with. This is what I've come up with, that I've discussed this with him 1,000 times. I've never actually written it down. I'm actually doing something different this time around. I'm gonna do this before all my lives now. I have notes. Have notes to follow along with, so there will be no randomness. There won't be no me going off track. No, okay, I'll still go off track. I just did actually. So, first line of thinking. And I'm going to give an example in each one of these things so that you know what I'm talking about. First thing is speak the truth in love. Now, where did you get that from? Well, that's straight from the Bible. That is the way you're supposed to speak the truth. You're not supposed to walk around as a Christian and walk around saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Stop talking like that. Don't do this. Stop drinking. Stop smoking. You're not supposed to do that. That's not what Christianity is about. And it's not just up to the preachers, the deacons, and the elders to teach the truth. It's up to all Christians to teach the truth to the people around them. That's how Christianity is always spread. A lot of people think, well, that's not my problem. That's what the preacher's job is. No, it's your job. Now, I'm not even talking about just Christians. I'm talking about if you know something, why would you keep it to yourself? That's pretty selfish, in my opinion. And in my humble opinion, I don't think you should know that knowledge then. Why are you being like that? You know what I'm saying? But there is a way to speak the truth in love. But let's make sure we understand this. I'm not going to read it. But if you have a Bible near you, I wish you would go and read this. And then we can have a discussion actually on this subject, love, in another video. In fact, I probably will have it pretty soon. Maybe I'll do this month. Maybe we'll talk about love Monday because I think it's important. The truth in love, not your definition of it. Oh, that's not right. You just said don't bend in your opinion. But we didn't create love. Love has no purpose in evolution, by the way. Evolution cannot explain the concept of love. Okay, I'm sorry to say that. It's one of those things that is unanswerable through science. Love isn't in the animal world. Excuse me. But it's God's definition of love, and let me try to compact this down for you. Love is an action word. It's not a feeling. I keep saying that, and I've said that before. However, people will look at me like, what do you mean it's not a feeling? I'm not saying there aren't emotions involved. In fact, the closer you are to somebody, there are going to be emotions involved. Your husband, your wife, your children, your family, your friends, and the closer that you are to these people, the more you're going to have those emotions. All right? But it is possible to not have those emotions. Why do you think fixed marriages? Now, we don't do fixed marriages in the United States. We have learned to not do that because this nation was, we had all these different Protestant religions come here and live here. So some people were Quakers, some people were Methodist, Baptist. So everybody had their own version of Christianity when they got here. And of course, the Church of Christ was established right around the time of the revolution of the United States from Britain. And so, God, I literally just lost my thought, y'all. I'm not playing, man. That's so messed up. Okay, anyway, so the establishment of the 13 colonies happened, and God, I am having a brain fart, a really bad one. This is still effects from that stroke. I still have moments like this, and doesn't that suck? Oh well. The point is, it's action. Okay, it's an action term. Okay, it's not an emotion. It's not that feeling that warm feeling you get when you're next to a pretty girl or when next to a handsome man. That's eros. There's 3 Greek terms for the word love: eros, agape, and phileo. There's brotherly love too. I love my brother. Dwan Jackson. But I love him, but I ain't sleeping next to him. You know what I'm saying? But I also agape Dwan Jackson, which means that's the eternal love. That's the way God loves us. That's the ultimate love. That's what you're trying to strive for. All right? That's what we're trying to strive for. That's how you become unified, by the way. But there's a way to do it. Okay? I will remember what I was trying to say about the 13 colonies in a second because it was very important. But I literally forgot. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. And also let me tell you something about that book, 1 Corinthians. Why it's important to understand this. The Corinthians were known before Paul came there and converted them. They were pagans. Corinth already had been around for a long, long time. And Corinth was the capital of the goddess of love, Aphrodite. There was the great temple of Aphrodite and so forth and so on. In fact, in my game that I'll be playing for you guys in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you get to go to Corinth, and that's one of the things that Cassandra, the character that you play, says. She says, "Whores." Well, she said whores and pottery, not much else, and that's what they were known for. That's how they made their money, is through the statues of Aphrodite. Okay, in fact, it was a pretty lewd place to live. If you were a girl that lived in that city, you had an interesting life, let's just say. And they even, their priestess were harlots. They were, I can't remember the Greek term. I'll look it up. But it's something you have to deal with in that game. They're priestess, but they're priestess of the goddess of love, which means they have sex on the altar to pray to their God. That's what Paul was contending with. Now that's emotion. That's emotion. That's eros. They dealt with eros all the time. They knew what eros was. It's sexual attraction. Okay? Well, I guess the Corinthian church had been established for a few years by the time the 1 Corinthians was written. But the actual reason why 1 Corinthians was written was a very important thing, and I'll get deeper into this in a little bit because it's very important. But basically, could you imagine being this guy? 1 and 2 Corinthians were written about the same stinking guy. Poor guy. 1 Corinthians was written because they were committing a sin so bad that Paul, who wasn't even in Corinth, had heard about it from overseas. Keep in mind, there was no internet. That a man was having sex with his mother. He was sleeping with his mother. And Paul was like, and you guys have not kicked him out? You guys have just let this guy be there, and you're being judged by the whole world. Kick him out. Well, so they kicked out the guy. But then the guy repented of his sins, and he tried to come back, and that's why 2 Corinthians was come back, because they so didn't want to offend God. They were so embarrassed about what had happened, what they had done, what they had allowed to happen in their congregation, that they wouldn't let the guy back in after he repented. And this is important to understand with love. Why it's important to understand each one of these points here is showing you how to present an argument, how to present your point of view, how to stand strong in the situation, so forth and so on. Okay? So speak the truth in love. Number 2, bring the facts. Saying that's just your opinion is not bringing the facts. You didn't win the argument. You may have felt, because like if you say that too many times to me, I'm going to walk away. and let you think about it. Because I don't waste my time, like Jesus says, you don't throw your pearls to swine. I'm not going to waste my time having a conversation with somebody that is just isn't going to listen. Okay? Doesn't mean I don't care. Just means that if you're going to continue to argue with me or tell me I'm wrong when you have not presented a single thing to me, I have no reason, and that's the way God created us, with reason. God has reason, therefore we have reason in the image and likeness of Him. There's no reason for me to listen to you if that's all you're going to say. Bring facts. Give me why you believe this way or that way. Okay? Or why I'm wrong. By the way, as a person, I don't care about Christianity for a second. This isn't just about being a Christian. This is about being a person. You want me to change my life, but yet you're not going to show me, you're not going to tell me how to do it? Really think on that. That's pretty effing selfish to me. Sorry, I'm just making sure always got to make sure my camera's right. Anyway, so I think that's pretty selfish. So show me why I'm wrong. Show me. Present an argument to me why I'm wrong. Me and Dwan used to practice this all the time. I practice this with Sophia all the time. Heck, before Desiree, my child, before she hated my guts, I practiced this with Desiree all the time. With Jennifer, when I first started really getting into the Bible and loving God and so forth and so on, back in the day, back a long time ago, back when I first met Dwan, I used to practice it all the time. When me and Dwan were homeless, and we were sitting up there in the city center in Minneapolis having debates with 4, 5, 6 different points of view. I had atheists in my crowd, and they all loved to listen to me speak. Why? Because I'm such a great speaker? No, because I presented the arguments correctly. Because I listened to their point of view. I showed them why this can't be true, that can't be true, whatever it is. Showed them where they need to tweak something here, blah, 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 blah. I mean, atheists, people that were not Christians, were listening to me talk. All sorts of different religions. I have talked to so many different types of religions because I know their doctrine. I know what they teach. I know the Baptist doctrine. I know the Methodist doctrine. Bring the facts. Don't just point out a person and say, well, that's not in the Bible. Or that's not taught, that's not true, that's not scientific, or whatever it may be. Bring the facts. Period. Bring the facts, and I'm going to add something to that. Be strong in your knowledge of it. The more facts you know about a subject, the stronger you're going to be. You're going to be like an oak. Maybe an oak's a bad example, because in my opinion, you also have to listen to what they're saying. Maybe the reason why they can't quite get it is because you're saying something a little off. I'll give you an example. When, in the year 2000, I just met Dwan, and I was having a conversation with my mother, which, by the way, my mother knew more about the Bible than my father. And my father's a preacher. Trust me, my mother knew Scripture. Okay? She actually, she converted, now that I think on it, my mother converted my father, brought my grandparents back to church when they had fallen away at the age of 13. My mother knew Scripture. She was a good woman. She knew her stuff. She was a good teacher. But I was on the phone with my mother, and she was having a conversation with a woman, actually in the state that I'm going to be moving to, in Wisconsin, where I lived. And they would have good Bible studies. This is what she said. They would have good Bible studies, And she was a Catholic, and my mom was trying to convert her to the Church of Christ. And the woman would agree with everything my mother said, except this one thing. My mom just could not convince her of this one thing. And that was the Catholic's viewpoint about Mary. That somehow Mary is holy and she's not just a woman. Okay? Nowhere in the Bible is Mary considered anything but Jesus' mother. Like she's considered holy because she had the Lord, but there's hardly any mention of Mary except for in the Gospels. There's not anything in the actual Bible in the New Testament about Mary. Well, anyway, so she was giving all these complicated arguments, I'm sure, to this woman. Well, she's talking to her son one day, me, and I couldn't stand a chance with my mother in a debate or anything. Let me turn off this fan real quick. But I was getting excited about scripture. My mom. So I would talk to my mom every day, and I said something so simplistic that my mother knew. It's not like I taught my mother anything, but it's the way I said it, and she had never considered presenting this argument this way. And that was, I was like, Mom, Mary wasn't a Catholic. My mom goes, oh my God, I never considered that. She wasn't. The Catholic Church wasn't even in existence at that time. So it was the original church. We can have a whole video, several videos about that subject. Again, I know my stuff. That's not the truth. That's what the Catholic Church claims is not true. They were perverted many years ago. Sorry, again, I know my stuff. If you have any problem with what I have to say, then bring facts. Bring facts. I'm not condemning anyone. I welcome arguments, but I'm not gonna, which is something I can talk about in a second here. I don't pander. I don't pander to people just to get them to like me. Okay. So bring the facts. Bring the facts, and be confident in your abilities to present those facts. Right. Now, not everybody's good at giving debate. That's a fact. Debate is an acquired taste, and it's not for everybody. But I'm talking about even like when you're around a family dinner table, or you're at work or something like that. You just get in a casual conversation. You may come across a subject that you know about, but maybe you're afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to speak. State your view. Be honest. State facts. If it gets to be in a debate mode, which usually it does, especially if they don't agree with you, you got to learn your limits. You got to practice. And so there's going to be a point where you're going to have to stop it. You can't argue. Don't get in an argument. Argument is not debate. That's not the same thing. Okay? Which goes into these next 2 points. They're connected. Know when to stop so they can digest it. And know when to walk away. I like to talk. Everybody knows I do. Lori knows I do. Sophia knows I do. And sometimes I can talk and talk and talk and talk. And the only human being alive, or he's not alive anymore, is Dwan, that could ever take a 6-hour conversation with me. I can talk for 6 hours and talk stronger and stronger and stronger as I speak. I've always been able to do that. I don't know how I do that. But I get passionate and my brain starts to work. It's just start firing off information. But it is overwhelming. People can only take sections of it. Ask Sophia. So you got to know how to stop. How do you know when to stop? there's a reason why usually, at least the worship services I've ever been to, or the teaching sessions even in school, are like an hour long. A person can take around an hour or so. Some people can take more. Dwan loved to listen to me, and that was the way he learned. I mean, Dwan learned not through reading because of his cognitive disability, through his cerebral palsy. So he learned, and he learned so much from me because he learned to listen to me speak. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody can take that. About, and you need to ask them, say, is this too much, or do I need to stop? Ask them. You'll find out. Then you can talk about it later. That doesn't mean the second you see them the next time, start talking about it. It means when the opportunity is presented, continue to speak on it. It may take months to convince somebody of an argument, or years, or never, which is the next one. Learn how to walk away. That's the hardest one, especially when you love somebody. It is so hard. It is so hard to know that you are right. Imagine this. Someone from another planet who has different rules of gravity, okay, than us, comes to this planet, and they want to try to jump off a building and fly because on their planet they can fly. And you've gotten to know them, and they want to fly by flapping their wings, their arms. And you're trying to explain to them, dude, you can't do that. You're going to die or break something. And you continue to convince them, but they are convinced that they can jump off a building and fly. You have no right to stop them. You have no right to stop them. You're not doing anything. And by the way, they're going to find a way to do it anyway, because they think you're wrong. There might be another way to convince them. In fact, maybe you haven't gone through all the ways. Maybe you've shown them all the videos of airplanes. I don't know. So to watch them jump off a building, knowing that they're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt, and parents face it all the time with their children. When the children leave the house and they go out into the wide world, and you know what the world's about. The world is evil. The world can be really evil. It can be good too, but I'm saying that the world, I'm using Christian terms. The world is anybody outside of Christianity. The world can be cruel, mean. They use people, murderous, sick. And your child's about to go out in the world, and maybe they go to college, maybe they don't go to college, but either way they're leaving your nest. And you have to do it. They're never going to truly learn what you've taught them. If you've done a good parenting job, or you've been a good friend to somebody, or you've been, you know what I mean? They're never going to learn by you just continually teaching them and them not actually seeing it in the real world being applied. Have faith in your teachings. Have faith in the person you taught, that they can apply it. Yes, are they going to make mistakes? Sure. Mistakes are not a bad thing, guys. God, I am the biggest offender of mistakes. I know mistakes almost as well as I know anything. And why don't we have a live video on, hey, how to commit a mistake? That'd be easier, right? So you have to let them go. In the case of people that you don't know, it's easier because you don't know them. You may never see them again. But understand this. If you think that your words, the words coming out of your mouth, don't have an effect on another human being, even if you never see them again, you're incorrect. There are so many times when I was homeless where people tried to help me where I did not want to listen, where I was not going to do what they said, that I think about to this day. that are eerie to me sometimes. That I think about, God, if I had just listened to this over here, I wouldn't have done this over here. That's why being bold, that's why knowing your stuff, that's why doing this, and you should do this. If you staying in your house or doing your life every day and not, and the only thing you want to talk about is what's on Netflix all day, good job. That's a great friend. I'm not saying don't have fun. What I am saying is when you have the opportunity, as in when you're around them, help them and listen to them as well. Let them help you. That's how we become one. That's how we become a unified group. Right? But you got to learn how to walk away. Because, like, I have a couple people, I can tell you now, there's actually two specific people that I have allowed to walk away. And not that I had any choice, but what I'm saying is I'm not going to be discussing with them anything of this stuff because they've chosen to reject it utterly. One person specifically is someone who I went to school with, and they have literally chosen to, I hope to God that I don't find out that this person dies of alcohol poisoning. The other person is a person that unfortunately has been a part of us for a while, and you guys can go back into my lives, into my videos, and how many times that I discuss things that this person clearly did not get the message after 3,000 times of me saying the same things over and over again. And this person has chosen isolation. I don't normally feel sorry for people, all right? But I feel sorry for anyone who doesn't believe they can do this. That you don't believe that you... When you've lost your want to, that is the most... That is... I feel so sorry for you because I was there. Not because I think I'm better than you, but because I was there. Right? And it hurts my heart to know that me and Sophia both love this person, and I still do. But especially when the same person, knowing that my brother just passed away, has chosen not to even speak to me. And then you want to call me a friend. You're not my friend. You're not a friend when you act like that. And you have to know that. That responsibility is on that person, not yourself. I didn't do anything wrong. I was mourning, and I had to get through this and try to change this stuff up, and here I am. And look what's happening. I'm writing notes and everything else. I'm better than I was before Dwan passed away. But that only came through the ingredients and the steps. That's why I teach that. I'm right on them. That's why. Because it works. The next one is, and kind of goes into what I just said about this person. Learn to listen so you can counter appropriately. Sorry, I'm reading this. I'm not used to reading. I'm not used to doing it this way. I really need a thing in front of me to. I might buy me a little stand or something to put my notebook up on. So let me try that again. Learn to listen so you can counter appropriately. You cannot possibly counter an argument if you're going to talk over a person. The person I just described does that. talks over a person, does not listen. That's why she didn't get the message. She didn't get the message not because I don't teach the message. She didn't get the message because she wasn't listening to the message. Because in her view, she's done stuff. She's an accomplished person, so she knows more than me somehow. That's not where knowledge comes from. Knowledge comes from wisdom. Wisdom is a thing that you should have by the time you are our age, but some people my age do not have it. Look at Congress and the House and the Senate. Just saying, those people are old and they don't have the certain party. You guys know the one doesn't have any common sense whatsoever. So know how to counter, and that goes into the facts thing. If you don't know how to counter an argument, if you don't even know what the other person's viewpoint is, how are you going to counter it? Because two things cannot be right at the same time, not even in science. Two things cannot be right at the same time. It's against the law of thermodynamics. So two objects cannot exist in the same place at the same time. That's just a law of science. Well, that also works in the philosophical world too. Either God exists or he does not. There isn't both. Either the Bible's right or it's wrong. The Bible is so open that it wants you to examine it. I'm open. I want you to examine it. I want you to judge me. You're not going to find anything to judge. Oh, you might disagree with me vehemently, but I want to know why you do. Like, I know a lot of people that do not agree with the med thing, period. They don't care. They don't care. They've been taught that I have a mental illness and I need to be on meds, period. It's funny that the person I just talked about, she almost didn't see me as bipolar. Well, that's a compliment. That means that what I'm doing works. Because I'm not on meds, and I haven't been on meds in 2006. I did this all without meds. So no, it's not true. But if you want to get on meds, sure. If you can't handle the emotions and stuff like that, sure. But you still have to work on your problems. You still have to do this stuff. This has nothing to do with that subject. But I have to debate that all the time with people. I have been blocked on Facebook. There are members of my family. I'm just going to say it. There are members of my family that have blocked me mainly because I'm not on my meds and they think everything I'm doing here is crazy. Really? No. I'm a little off sometimes. I mean, sheesh, but aren't we all sometimes? But no, this isn't crazy. This is logical. It's well put together, in my opinion. I think it looks really good, and I think I look good. Thank you very much. But being serious, I've had such heated debates with people. People say such mean things when they have a certain point of view and they're trying to be right, not truthful, right. They just want to win. They just want to win. I lost a friend back in 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2021. That basically did not. I mean, I had known this person since high school, since elementary, and in fact, her mother was one of my teachers, one of my English teachers, and she was talking about the abortion issues. No, I'm not going to talk about abortion, but in this case, it's relevant. She was giving her viewpoint on why she supports abortion, and what she said was so dark and so insulting to me that I felt the need to basically defend and get her to look at her own words and think about my life and my sister's life, to get her to say, why would you support it for that reason? You want to support abortion? Fine. I don't agree with you. I think it's evil. But this specific reason why is what I had a problem with. What she said was she supported abortion because sometimes people can't take care of their kids. All right? Let's examine why that would be insulting to me. Downright mean and evil. I asked her a simple question on Facebook. I said, Katie, oops, shouldn't have said that name. Oh well, too late. I said, Katie, do you understand that me and Jacqueline were born addicted to drugs? We were born that they burned cigarettes on us. So should me and Jacqueline have died? Not only did she not respond, she gave the same answer that she had previously given. In other words, she repeated herself. Okay? And then literally erased my entire message off the Facebook so nobody could see the response. That, guys, is not a debate. That is, I'm right, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. That's not a debate. That's not a conversation. That is, I'm right, you're wrong, and F what you think. And I don't care if I insulted you for it. That's what that was. And then she blocked me. Me and Dwan were absolutely shocked she did that. And it didn't used to be that way. And I know where she learned that. She learned that in college, especially in Wisconsin. Liberal. Evil stuff. But they don't care. They don't care if they don't care. Their viewpoint is they don't care if there's a example right in front of them that is proving them wrong. I'm a physical example that what she said was wrong. It's not my words. Literally, my whole entire being, me being here, is the adoption. There is another way. It's called adoption. I was adopted, y'all. So that happened, and there's a lot of different subject matters like that I have done, where people act like that, and those people you're not going to have conversations with. So. And this goes into the next part. Read the room. Read the room. Do you understand? What does that mean, Daryl? It means you're not going to walk into the National Atheist Society of America and think everyone's going to be glorifying the Lord. You're probably going to get heckled. You're probably going to get told to leave. There's going to be some people that will not talk to you. If you come in there as a Christian or as a person, it doesn't matter if you're Christian or if you're Buddhist or if you're Hindu. If you believe in a God, doesn't have to even be God, but if you believe in a religion, that you don't expect them to welcome. In fact, you probably don't drink anything at that party or at that meeting because your stuff might be poisoned. Okay. They hate you. All right? So read the room. Don't think you're going to go into a certain place. I'll tell you a true story. And I've told this story before, but this is useful in this particular thing. I was in the gay area in Dallas, and I think a bunch of Baptist members of this church came down there, and they do this every year, or they used to. I bet you they don't anymore, especially nowadays. But they did back then, and they would come down there with this giant cross in the middle of the gay area and think that they were doing the Lord's work. No, what they were doing was luring over other people, their Christianity, their faith. We have faith and you don't. Ha 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 ha. Well, Daryl, who did have faith, didn't defend them. Daryl defended the gay people. Why? Not because I agree with homosexuality, but because they were representing it in the darkest of ways. You're not going to represent Christianity to me and lure your Christianity over somebody else and think that, because that is false teaching, and it makes what I do much harder. There's a lot of people who have the wrong viewpoint about the Bible and so forth and so on, when in reality, I have a lot more in common with the supposed atheists than they think, and they get surprised when it happens. Well, wait, but you're not an atheist? No, because what you have a problem is with some of the false religions that what they teach. You don't have a problem with the Bible. You have a problem with that, but you've been taught wrong, and you've been taught that the Bible teaches this stuff, this false stuff, and of course it's ignorance. It's dumb. They're right. Okay? So read the room. Don't pander. I cannot stand when a person panders to me. Don't pander to me. Don't go, oh, I understand. No, you don't. If you don't agree with me, say you don't agree with me. And we can have a conversation about that. I love debating. I am good at it, and I love it, and I love teaching. But don't pander. Don't go, well, I don't agree with you, but I'll listen to what you have to say. Okay? Are you actually going to listen? Or are you going to listen, and then at the whole time that I'm talking, you're thinking, God, what time is lunch? What time is lunch? What time is lunch? You're wasting my time. Stop it. If you want to have a real serious conversation, let's do it. This is what I do. This is the thing that you guys are just now understanding, that I'm just now being able to do properly on here. That it took me a long time, going on 19 years, to get this back inside me. That I didn't have this before, because I had lost everything, my faith, everything. I lost my belief in myself, other people, the world. I thought I was alone. I think the fifth ingredient says you're not. You're not alone. I never was. God is there. I believe in God. If you're an atheist, you don't have to believe in God. If you're an atheist or something like that, or you're just not, you don't believe in Jehovah and Christ and all that, you're still not alone. There are people like you out there that can side with you, that can help you. Period. You're not alone. It's not. If you're alone, you choose to be alone. Okay? The idea that the whole world has rejected you and you're alone. No. You've chosen, either through your lifestyle, because maybe you've done some bad things. Yeah, you're probably not going to have your old friends back, because maybe they see you as a criminal. But if you're trying to live a good life, people will eventually see the good things you're doing and be understanding of your past. That's what's happening with me. So don't pander. Don't pander. Don't pander to me, because I will call you out, and it makes me actually more mad than if you disagree with me. It should make you mad. Don't let people pander to you. Don't pander to other people. Don't pander. Be slow to speak and pay attention to every detail. Every detail of what that person says matters, because it could be the key to why they believe that way. Literally. I cannot tell you how many times that what I was trying to teach Dwan before he passed away was nuances. It's part of the read the room thing, but it really is. Pay attention to detail. Sophia's gotten really good at it because I've taught her how to do it. Even though I'm not around Amanda, her daughter, Amanda's good at doing it. She notices things. Heck, she noticed a certain thing about my sister, not Jacqueline clearly, but about my other sister, that I couldn't see because I was too blind back then. And Amanda's the reason why I opened up my eyes to what was going on with my sister. It wasn't good. So be slow to speak and pay attention to every detail. Don't just react. Don't just react. That's what I used to do. Don't just react. Watch everything that's going on, process it, okay, and then respond. If they demand an answer right away, say, I don't have an answer for you right now. Be honest, say, I don't have an answer for you right now. Let me process it and I will get back to you. If that's not good enough for them, then conversation over. Because they don't want an answer. They want to fight. So be slow to speak. Don't be afraid of criticism. Oh my God. I was the guiltiest person on the history of ever when I first met Sophia. I couldn't take anything said against me because I had such a nasty self-esteem, low self-esteem, that everything was an attack on my soul. So I would get my feelings hurt. I'd get angry because I thought you were attacking me. Especially when I was in a bad mood or something. That's why it's been so important for me to control my emotions. Because emotions do that. Emotions will make, and it's hard. You have to breathe. You need to step outside maybe. Because that person has just said something so offensive to you. Breathe. Breathe and then respond adequately. But don't be afraid of it. Criticism, correct critique, can actually improve you greatly. I just told you about one in the beginning, about my voice, about being too loud. There is a time to get loud, and there's a time to be soft. I'm not going to be loud through this whole thing, but when I need to be loud, I'm loud. There is a way. There's a way. It's practice. Speaking, the ability to speak. Not everybody's good at it. Not everybody wants to be good at it. But you also don't want to sound like a screaming banshee when you're talking to somebody. Right? Know your opponent's view. One of the reasons why I can do this so well without any sort of education. Of course, I think I'm actually pretty educated considering. But you know what I mean by that. I don't have a college degree. It's because I've learned the other view, the thing that needs to be debated. So as a creationist, which I am, I've learned evolution. All of it. I've learned Islam. I've learned Methodism, the Methodist faith, Baptists, so forth and so on. I've learned all the doctrines. Now I have to go through them and I have to get myself unrusty, but I can still hold my own. And I learned it because I wanted to. I taught myself first century Greek because I wanted to learn the original language so that I could teach it better, because I wanted to know what God meant and not what the English version of that. And it's not that the English version is wrong. It's that, interpret. You've ever heard the phrase "lost in translation"? Sometimes things are better if you understand what the word means, what he was trying to say there. Because Greek's very precise. You cannot get that one wrong, really. So I learned that. Learn the opponent's point of view. And practice it. Practice. Get in conversations with a stranger. Get in conversation with your mother. Get in conversation with your father, your brother, your sister, your wife, your uncle, your dog. Don't get in conversation with your dog, because if your dog answers back, you need to go to psych training or psych ward. Just kidding. But practice it. This is practice right here for me. It's not just education, it's education for me. I'm educating myself as I'm speaking to you. It's like the book of James says. When you speak, do you not hear yourself speak? James was the brother of Jesus. That's important to understand. In the end, it takes diligence, perseverance, and a strong belief in your abilities. fact. Diligence, perseverance, and a strong belief in your abilities. You have to know, and that strong belief comes from the things I just said. Knowing the opponent's point of view, knowing the facts, knowing when to walk away, all those things I just said. If you can do those things and you can practice them, you will get better and better and better, and you will become that light of the world yourself. And again, I say, the Bible teaches it, and it's just common thought process. When you have knowledge, share it. I believe it is one of the most selfish acts you can do is to not share knowledge of something when you know other people don't know something. And then you want to get mad at them because you don't know. Well, you could have taught them. Tisk, tisk. I don't have a college education. I don't have the right to teach. Do you have a mouth? You have a brain? And you have the right to teach. We've been brainwashed into some things that are just ignorant. You don't need a teaching certificate to teach. You just need to teach it. That's a new thing in history. Teaching certificates. The doctor's degree wasn't even given in the United States until the 1900s. Until Woodrow Wilson brought that over here. What a great thing! Look at our colleges, campuses now. There's riots and people rushing into libraries and in anti-Semitism. Yeah, they're learning there. Boy, they are learning a lot of stuff there. All the important stuff. How to properly gain power. That's what they're teaching in colleges now. You know, I'm not saying it's all bad, and there are good people that can sift through that, but not for people that. Oh, by the way, they're judgmental, which means that a person like me, who is smart and who can do this stuff, I'll never be allowed into Columbia University or those places like that. It's amazing. Last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to stop. Evil, let me read this to you. Evil smells fear and will use it to back you down and live by your words. Don't just speak, live by how you speak. I mean, I'm speaking to basically one person. I think that one person is probably myself right now. So I probably just made a lot of people mad today. Watch the video again. Watch this video again and actually think about what I'm trying to tell you. Everybody, it's Saturday. I'm kidding, by the way. But the last thing, evil smells fear. Yes. Evil will use intimidation to back you down off of your argument, off of your point of view. They try to use it and then they pander to you and they use all these tactics. Because the truth doesn't need that stuff. The truth only has facts. And so when you present the facts, so I listen to Fox News all the time, and Jimmy Fallon, who's on there, he says this all the time. It's so true. When you have the facts, pound the facts. When you don't have the facts, pound the table. That's what false people do. They get emotional. They pound the table and they scream and they. Does that sound like anything you know? Y'all know politics. They scream. They have no righteousness in them. So in other words, the truth doesn't need that. The truth has facts. The truth is the truth. That's it. There's no agenda. It's not a political agenda. It's just the truth. That's what we teach her. The Greek word for truth is aletheia. knowing I love you guys. I know maybe some of you don't love me right now. You're like, oh, I can't stand it when he makes me think. Too bad. Don't apologize for it. I love what I do. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I'm smiling because I know a lot of people on here think, oh my God, he's gotten serious again. Yeah. It's what Dwan would have wanted. And so I told you I'm not going to dishonor my friend. He would have loved this live tonight. I wish he was here so badly sometimes. No, all the time. But I love you guys. I say the truth in love. I speak it. I get better at it. I make my mistakes, sure. But all of you mean so much to me. It's not really that funny. And that's all I'm trying to do is just help you keep enlightened. Help you light your own candle so that you can fight against the darkness too. Be safe when you travel. Pray for Sophia while she's up in Minnesota. Pray for me too, because I'm here by myself. Pray for us to get this all done so we can come back together and so I can be a stronger team with her. Because man, it sucks just being here by myself, not really talking about. Heck, I'm having to go through my own head and talk to myself, even to go over this stuff. But be safe when you travel. Be safe when you get there. Be aware of your surroundings. You never know what you may find. Be understanding of one another, not just from your perspective, but from theirs. Be understanding of yourself. Because you're not God. Until the day you breathe your last, you're always going to be learning, whether you realize it or not, even if you're not trying to learn. It's how you learn it. It's what you're learning. That's what's going to help you grow. And remember, life is fleeting. You're not promised your next breath. So take it now. Go outside your box. Learn something new, and you never know what you may find out about yourself. And until Monday, which I'll be releasing my new video, last step. May the Lord of Light guide you in all things. Goodbye.